Lois.
Hello.
I may have said your name, but who are you and what do you do with ThinkSpace?
I'm Lois Patton and I'm doing a professional media composition course over 3 years and it's great.
Cool. And you're our student rep?
Yes.
Cool. And what kind of stuff do you get on with in that regard?
Basically supporting the students and having a chat on Facebook, dealing with any issues that are sort of at a low level that people need to be dealt with, or answering questions sometimes, and generally being collegial and networking with the other students.
Yeah, you're also our kind of link between the student body and us, I suppose, as staff,
Yes.
aren't you, as well?
Yeah.
Cool. So what background are you from?
I guess it's a bit complicated because I don't have a music background as such, really. Basically went to school and did piano and things at school, but didn't actually do music at university.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've come at things from a bit left field, really. I ended up going to be a doctor at university and for various reasons didn't pursue music academically, but carried on doing music throughout the time that I was at uni and did all sorts of stuff and was a musical director in a theatre and was in a jazz band and in an orchestra and a choir and did all sorts of bits and pieces. But for some reason I didn't think that it could be a career at that stage, and carried on and did medicine, finished my degree, and graduated and worked for a few years, and then just had this dawning realisation that I wasn't having the opportunity to be creative at work, and I really didn't like that. I felt really creatively stifled and it wasn't that useful for me, and I thought, how am I going to get some creativity back in my working life? And so I ended up kind of just doing a few bits and pieces with music. I did a short film, actually got asked to do a short film which I scored entirely in Sibelius, my first one. And I just thought, hey, maybe I could do this for a career. And so I did another one which was a western, and I scored that entirely in Sibelius as well. And then I had this realisation that if I was serious about pursuing writing music for media, that I needed to actually up my game a bit and do something serious. So that's when I started looking at courses, and ThinkSpace was the one that I ended up doing.
So why did you pick ThinkSpace then in particular?
Because it's super flexible and I really needed that because I was working and I couldn't commit to doing something full time. It just wouldn't have worked. I've got 2 kids. There's no way I could have actually done a full time undergraduate or postgraduate degree, and I needed something that was going to fit with being able to earn money at the same time as studying and looking after the children. So ThinkSpace was pretty much the only course that I managed to find that was able to do that. Yeah.
Well, I think you're the example we always bring up when it's people coming to us and ask, well, how much time is it? And we can tell them, well, our student rep is a student rep, a GP, which we all know how hard GPs work, and is a mother, and still writes music, not just for us, but for pitches. So it is all possible, isn't it? It
is possible. The workload's definitely more than what I thought it would be when I very first started thinking about doing the course. But actually, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I think being pushed and having deadlines is really good. And I think that it's useful to have set things that you have to get done in a certain amount of time, and if you didn't have that, you'd sort of just drift along, really. So I think having a little bit of pressure is quite good. It's been good for me. It's made me do stuff.
Yeah, so that's how you found the kind of workload in general then?
Yes.
Yeah. So what about the materials then? How has the actual content of the course been?
Really good. I've really enjoyed it. I think what's online is excellent. It's so good to be able to just access it from anywhere. You can watch the tutorials on the train, you can basically do it anywhere. And that was another consideration for me when I was doing the course, is that I didn't have to physically be present at a university campus in order to actually do my learning. I could be at home, I could be doing the washing or whatever I needed to do, and also managed to do my study as well. So it's really good from a location point of view that it's all online. Yeah. Really good.
What kind of thing have you been up to then in terms of course and assignments and things like that?
So my most recent stuff, I've just finished the 3rd module of professional media compositions, so that's writing to brief, and I've done 3 tracks for a computer game, and I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Have you thought about working in video games and that kind of medium before then?
Yeah, I think that might be where I'm heading actually.
Okay.
I'm really, I went to Play Expo recently in Manchester, and that was really good just to see what other composers were doing who are actually, working composers in video games, and had a chat to a few of them, and that was really useful actually to see that there is a career trajectory, there is a possibility of full-time work in music for games if you want to. That was really good actually, and I think games, certainly for me, that's been the most enjoyable module so far, writing the music for the game tracks.
So you mentioned earlier that when you were at university and stuff, you didn't really feel like music was a career option, but you're out there now at expos and talking to people. Do you feel more confident now that that could be a career choice for you?
Definitely. I think, way back when I was sort of 17, 18, I couldn't see a defined career path in music, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't end up doing it, was because I wasn't really clear what I could do if I came out with a music degree, and that's definitely changed for me now. I think it's much more clear. I think the possibilities in terms of the technology have really moved on anyway since I was at uni, and so that's really helped, but also I think I've got a much clearer idea of what I want, and I think that really helps. If you don't know what you want, it's hard to achieve it.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll know better than anyone as well as a student rep. What's the kind of student body like? What are the people like that you'll be studying alongside?
Everyone's so nice. They're really great. I haven't come across anybody that's horrible, and everybody's really friendly, really willing to help each other out. We've all got different skills, and that's actually been brilliant, because it means that those of us who've got a lot of good music theory grounding and background can help people who haven't, and the people who've got really good production techniques can help people like me who haven't got such great production techniques. And so it's been really good. We've been doing student-led webinars, and that's been extremely useful to just help everybody get up to a really good skill level in each area, and I hope we continue with those.
Well, it's one of the key factors that makes this kind of course different from a brick and mortar university, is the fact that you aren't in a physical space to people. But do you still feel connected and friendly with people? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've got the Facebook group. We're always chatting on there about all sorts of stuff, including non-music related things. We've met in person, both on little school trips that we've been on, down to see Hans Zimmer in London, and also at the Chichester induction, which has been really good. Not everybody's met in person, but that's been really useful actually to sort of do that. We have webinars, and we have Skype sessions sometimes with various people as well. So I don't feel disconnected from the other students at all. Actually, it's been really good.
So what advice would you give to a student that's first started, like they've applied to a ThinkSpace course now and they're due to start in a month? What would you say to them?
Have a look at the course handbook and get some of the books and the resources in advance, so you're not scrabbling around for them when it's time to sort of actually read them. And watch some of the films if you're going to be doing some of the film stuff. Play some of the games if you're doing the game stuff, and get stuck in, really. You're only going to get out of it what you put into it, and the more you put into it, the more you learn.
What do you feel like you've got out of it then? What about opportunity wise? Do you feel better prepared for that kind of scenario?
Definitely. I think I sort of didn't really know again about the career trajectory when I started. I had half an idea, but I wasn't too sure. But I have much clearer idea about the boundaries of different genres now in terms of films and games. I have a much clearer idea about what's expected from a client, about how to write to a brief, a much clearer idea about how to ask the client what they want, and get a real answer from them rather than a wishy-washy answer. And so I think that's all sort of informed my music and what I've been doing.
No, that's great. So you definitely feel better off than you were when you started the course as a composer?
Oh, massively. It's worlds apart. I listen back to stuff that I was doing before I started the course. I'm a bit embarrassed about it now because it was so bad.
But you can hear an audible difference to the work that you're kicking out now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you faster as well as a composer?
I think so. I'm getting there. I'm not the fastest person that I know. Certainly there's a lot of room for improvement. I think there always is. But I'm getting there. And I think once you have a workflow and an idea of where you're heading with something, it really helps.
Yeah. So I think the last thing as well, you're starting now to get some credits out there and things like that. You've got a poster up now of one of your films. What's next for you in composer?
What's next for me? I'm hoping to do a proper game. I've only done a few levels of games and a few bits and pieces really, but to do a proper game that's actually on sale in the real world would be really great. So that's an aim, and that's one of the reasons why I went to Play Expo, because I was trying to network with some of the game developers, and I've had a few little bites but nothing major, so I'll keep trying and we'll see what happens. I've just done a TV series actually, so that's been really good, just to try and get things off the ground. It's just for a local TV channel, so I'm hoping to do a bit more of that, and ultimately I'm having a midlife crisis and I'm trying to have a career change and make music my full-time career. So that's my plan.
Well, good luck with that. I know you will do that.
Thank you.
You put us all to shame with your work ethic, so thank you very much for putting up with me this afternoon.
You're welcome.